Hello again, welcome back to another episode. Today, kind of changing things up a little bit more, following on from the, I'm getting a bit fed and tired, sick and tired of looking at single lens reflex cameras. So today we're travelling back to 1955 to 1959, and we've got ourselves a Kodak camera. Still got its case, and it's screwed into it, of course. Squeaky. There we go, get rid of the case. So we have here a Kodak camera made in London in the UK, I'm going to say late 50s. Quite small, it will fit in a pocket. This is a folding camera, so if you push on this black button at the top, it's a bit stiff because it hasn't been used for a while, and pull this front part down, you'll see that this is lock here, and there is the camera. It's a viewfinder up here that you can look through to compose. You can either do it that way or that way. This camera is medium format, and it takes a 620 film, which is another format of film. I normally talk about 35mm or 120 film, but there are a number of formats that have kind of disappeared when everybody thought film was going to be finished and dying. But they're starting to make a comeback. I was looking around some dealers today, and you can actually get new 620 film as well as 127 film. It's a limited choice, but you can still get them. The same as 110, the cartridges. And there's even some people are using 126, which is another obscure format that's coming back. Forgive me, this phone just doesn't shut up. So most of the workings for this are actually on the front of the lens. And you can see here, I've got a yellow filter on this, which can come off. Yellow filters are used to emphasise clouds in the sky in black and white. And it's not uncommon for these old sort of, I don't suppose they're vintage cameras, but these older cameras, yellow filter was quite often used. So you can see up here, you've got a range of shutter speeds. It's rather limited. You've got B, which is bulb, the shutter just stays open, and then a 25th, a 50th, a 100th, and a 200th, the old sort of speed ratings. And the way you would set those is on the top here. You'll notice that there's a dial that moves across here, and where the V is pointing to is going to be your shutter speed. You have to cock the shutter or set the shutter so it's going to fire. So if you move this lever here over, that's the shutter cocked. And then to fire the shutter, you push on the black button, which is a really complicated way of doing things. Pushes a lever that then triggers the shutter over here. There you go. It's very quiet, very discreet. But once you've taken the image, cock the shutter, take another one, and I'll set that on 200. Again, push the button, and that is what fires the shutter. Now, to adjust the aperture, there's also a little bar here. You can see it down here, and this adjusts the aperture. So if you move this across, this part here is for a cable release, so you can use a cable release on the camera. So this is a constantly adjustable aperture. It goes from 4.5 down to 32, which is quite nice. The lens on this is 105mm, if I remember right. Yeah, 150mm, Aniston 4.5. There's your Kodak London. So if I cock the shutter and set this to B, if I fire the shutter, we should be able to see the aperture blades. Yeah, now we can see the aperture blades inside. And as I adjust them, it's a bit fiddly. As I adjust it, you should see it changing. So that's the aperture and the shutter speed. Good range of apertures, but not a particularly wide range of shutter speeds. It's a beautiful Art Deco design. This camera is actually the Sterling II, which I think has got a slightly better lens. There was a Junior 2 version as well. I think this one has a slightly better lens on it. It also does have a self-timer. So you can set this to any shutter speed you like, which is this bit down here. You just move that across. You see Pronto shutter. Quite a long delay. There you go. So that's how you took selfies in the late 1950s. Other than that, there's not an awful lot else to know really. It's a 6x9 camera, so either go big or go home. You get 8 exposures on a 620 roll. This back's a bit of a pain to open. There you can see the size of the film gate, a huge negative. I've just got hold of a 6x9 enlarger, so that's part of the reason why I pulled this out of the pile. 6x9 enlarger. I think in that sort of medium format, apart from a few specialist cameras, it doesn't get an awful lot bigger. You know, it's a bigger negative than that of the 6.7. You know, it is a huge. It looks like the shutter's open, but it's not. It's just a reflection of the light. And there's quite clearly a warning in the back of the camera as well. Load with Kodak 620 film. Caution, this camera does not take 120 film. So if you come across one of these, it is 620 film. And this little window here is where you look at the roll number, you know, the picture numbers on the back of the paper. Loading it's fairly straightforward, although the film travels the opposite way to the way that you would think. In that the new film goes in this side, and then this is the take-up side with the winding handle. And you literally simply look through the window of the backing paper until you see the corresponding number. This is a roll of 120. 120 and 620 is the same size, and you could re-roll this. The difference is in the spindle bit in the middle, this black part. This is a 120 spindle, and this is a 620 spindle. You can see the 620 spindle is a lot thinner, so 120 won't work, there's not enough room in there, but a 620 will. And you can unwind a 120 film in a dark room or in a changing bag, which is basically a mobile dark room, and you can re-spool it onto one of these, so you can use any sort of available 120 film in a 620 camera if you re-spool it. But having, like I said earlier, you can actually buy some films that come as 620s, but that is the only difference, is the spindle. This is Kodak trying to tie the user into their film. Film's always been expensive, photography's always been expensive, and to run one of these cameras in the 50s would have been expensive. It's expensive nowadays if you think the price of a roll of portrait in 120, and you're going to get 8 exposures out of it. That's really expensive. Processing, etc., scanning or printing. It's not a cheap camera to run. Probably the first film's going to cost you more than the camera will. But it's an interesting thing, and the 6x9 negative is going to capture so much detail. But yeah, basically you wind this onto, say, another 120 spool, so that it's backwards, and then you can wind it onto one of these, so it's the right way around. And that's how you would use it. I've just ordered a couple of 620 films just to give it a try. I can't remember what brand they were. I think they were Orwell or something. There was some, what's obscure nowadays, but Orwell used to be quite a big company in film. I used to use their transparency film a lot in the late 70s, early 80s. So that is a Kodak Sterling II. Very simple camera. I had a look on Flickr for some sample images, and the lens doesn't look too bad actually. Some of the quality comes out, and it's got a really nice sort of oldie world feel to the images. You know, they're not crystal sharp, but they are quite sharp. You know, not compared to today's standards, but they're very nice actually. Yeah, nice cameras. I know quite a lot of you guys out there like folders, and to put it away you just pop that bit down. That just goes into there. There's a little stand here so you can sit it on a brick wall or something. It does have a tripod bush as well. And then here, in case you're wondering, just to make it a complete outfit, I'll get it out. Tab, put one. Here's a lens hood for it, so you can put the lens hood and the filter on it, and that's like your complete outfit for black and white photography. So yep, that's the camera for today. Kodak Sterling II, late 50s, made in the UK, in London, by Kodak. This bit's plasticky, an early form of plastic. The rest of it's metal. So yeah, it's nice condition. There you go, folks. That's the video for today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Comments, questions, queries, etc. down below. Please like and subscribe and all that usual YouTube stuff. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.